Good evening, sirs.
Good evening, Samiksha. Can you see four of us, Samiksha?
Yes, sir.
All right. So let's begin with your brief introduction.
Yes, sir. Sir, I'm Samiksha Dwivedi. I was born in Rewa, Madhya Pradesh, but my domicile is Indore, Madhya Pradesh. I have done my B.Tech in Computer Science Engineering from SRM University, from where I got placed in Verizon Data Services, where I worked for 2 years. Post that, I pursued MBA from IIT Kanpur, and my major was finance and economics there. Post that, I started my civil services preparation. Presently, I'm employed in Canara Bank as probationary officer. And in my free time, I like to do reflective diary writing and watch movies and watch documentaries and read non-fictional books on the topics of finance and economics.
Very good. Samiksha, you have such good qualifications. You have done in computers. You have done MBA. You are trying CFA, and you are working in a banking sector. Now, why IAS or civil services are attracting you?
So, working in banking, it was a conscious decision in order to work in an essential sector of the country, and it also provided me professional stability. However, it works with means of development, that is, providing capital intermediation and financial inclusion. While working in civil services, it provides an opportunity to work in the harmonious combination of both means and ends of development, like health, education, welfare, infrastructure. And that's why I want to shift to governance through civil services.
Okay, good, Samiksha. Samiksha, you are in the banking sector. Now, tell me how rural banking has developed over the last, say, 10, 20 years. Earlier, it used to be cooperative banks which were, providing finances to the rural people. Now, with certain schemes, can you just tell us what all changes have happened?
So the rural banking sector has seen a shift, a definite shift in last 10 to 15 years. Because apart from, as you said, there was mainly focus on cooperative banking, but now rural banking has lots of options because there's presence of big banks also who are mandated to have rural branches. There is rural regional banks also, and alongside that there has been more financial inclusion because uh, there has been increase in the number of account holding, particularly of women. As per the data, around 55% of the account holders are women. And alongside that, there has been more focus towards providing credit, and that also sustainable credit, which does not, which brings the rural population in the formal banking.
Okay. Now tell me, good Samiksha, very nice. Samiksha, I now ask you, since you being a woman and going to be a civil servant, now tell me, you are in the civil service, you are in the IAS, and you have the power to bring in some, law or some scheme. Number one, to bring in social empowerment of women, economic empowerment of women, and political environment of women. Right? The three options. How would you start? Which will be the first option, the second, and the third priority? Which one would you start with, and then followed by next one and the next one? Economic, social, and political. Tell me.
So I will start with economic empowerment because it provides financial independence to women, and it also enhances their decision-making power as seen by the uh,
Second, after that, fine, very good.
yes, so after that, I will go with social empowerment because it will help in changing the conservative nature of the society and provide more presence to women in public life, which
Mhm.
will further help in their political environment and emerge as political leaders.
Good, 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 very good. My last question. You're a history student, or you have taken history, right?
Yes.
Now, Mahatma Gandhi ji said truth and non-violence. He kind of put these truth and non-violence as the basic way of life. Now, the world is today absolutely opposite. You hear fake things. There's nothing truth. and number two, there is violence. Now, you think Gandhi has become irrelevant to the present world, or the present world has gone a little crazy?
So I don't think Mr. Gandhi ji has gone irrelevant, because now also we are making effort to bring truth in the society. We are addressing the issue of misinformation and hate speech, so that there is peace and cooperation in the society. And also violence, definitely it is there, but there have been efforts in order to undertake peaceful negotiation. For example, even in Russia-Ukraine war, there have been efforts to come to peaceful end of the wars.
Good.
So I believe it is still relevant.
Good, Samiksha. Thank you, Samiksha. I pass on to Dr. Gupta.
Thank you, sir.
Samiksha, tell me what is the contribution of Madhya Pradesh to the national flag of India?
So I will have to read more on this. Sorry, sir.
You have to read more on it? Okay. Uh, what is the importance of Narmada River for MP?
So Narmada is the longest river in Madhya Pradesh. It serves as lifeline for many districts, because it passes end to end from Madhya Pradesh, and definitely it has significance for water security of Madhya Pradesh. Alongside, it has significance for economic security also, because it is significant for agriculture, industry, etc. And also cultural significance is also there, because it is worshipped as mother, as Riva. Even Rani Rupmati, she there's a story that she would wake up and do darshan of Narmada river. So it has a very important significance for Madhya Pradesh on multiple angles.
What are the World Heritage Sites in MP?
Yes, sir. So there are mainly three World Heritage Sites in MP. First is Khajuraho Temple, which was built by Chandela dynasty in Chhatarpur district. Then second is Sachi Stupa, which is a very important Buddhist site. And thirdly, it is Bhimbetka in Raisen, which is important highlight for prehistory of India.
Okay, as a banker, tell me what are the important functions of the Reserve Bank of India? Five important functions.
So, Reserve Bank of India, being the central bank of India, has immense importance. First of all, it needs to ensure growth, price stability with perspective of growth, and it acts as the banker for the banks. It acts as lender of last resort for them, and it also acts as banker for the governments also, for center and state. Alongside that, it manages the liquidity in our system through open market operations, and it also undertakes the uh, it is also important for maintaining the financial stability of the economy as a whole, as a regulator for multiple financial institutions.
Okay, you can do better there. Now, as economic finance, you have done that. So there's a book called Development as Freedom. Does it strike a bell in your mind?
Yes, sir. I have not personally read the book, but I'm
Yes.
aware it is written by Amartya Sen, where he delves into capability approach of development, whereas people develop capability through health, education, and welfare approach, they will have freedom to make their own choices and be empowered.
Very good, very good. And why this book is so well known?
So I'm not sure about it. I will read more on
Okay,
it. Sorry, sir.
okay. Thank you so much, Samiksha. We will do Samiksha later on. Over to you, Mr. Raji.
Thank you, sir.
Samiksha, what is the difference between written history and oral history?
So, written history is recorded as literary text or through archaeological evidences. However, oral history is passed on more through narratives in oral format, where it happens through intergenerational transfers, like folk traditions.
Is it reliable?
So I believe to an extent it can be considered reliable because it is, in a way, a historical memory. However, with time, it often has certain changes which the person who is transferring the history may make with time.
Okay, it is often said that there has been a deliberate attempt to undermine the role of certain subaltern historical figures in the Indian history. Do you agree to this?
So I don't think it is a deliberate attempt. It's just that history has often been, even by this is the opinion of subaltern historians, that it has been written by elites. So often the subaltern sections have been neglected. However, lately there have been attempts to bring their perspective by analyzing more sources, for example, perspective of women or vulnerable sections. Recently, attempts are being made to bring them into historiography.
Okay. Where were Buddhist councils held?
Yes, sir. So first Buddhist council was held in so the hist in perspective of history, you're asking.
Yes, of course.
Yes, sir. So the first Buddhist council was held in Rajgriha under Ajatashatru. Second was held in Vaishali under Kalashoka, and third was held under Ashoka in Patliputra, and fourth was held in under. I'm not able to recall the name of the ruler.
JNK was in Jammu and Kashmir.
So it was held in Kundalgram, but
It was in JNK. Okay.
yes, sir, I'm not able to
Hmm.
recall the name. Sorry, sir.
Okay. Who has written the book What is History?
So sorry, sir, I'm not aware. I will read more on this.
E.H. Carr. Okay. That's a very good book. You should read that also.
Yes, sir.
5 women centric initiatives for the upliftment of women, which has been done by the central government.
So first, I would suggest Stand Up India scheme, which has been targeted towards entrepreneurial initiative for women. Uh,
Second,
Alongside that, there have been Mission Shakti, which is for uh, economic empowerment and safety of women. Uh, so I will have to read more on this. I'm not able to recall as of now.
why Bangladesh is news to?
So, in Bangladesh, a few days ago, a major radical student leader was assassinated, and because of that, there have been large-scale protests in Bangladesh, especially since India's name has come up. So, there have been protests in front of India's consulate in Bangladesh also.
Okay. Thank you, Samiksha.
Thank you, sir.
Samiksha, you watch documentaries on finance.
Yes, sir.
Can you name 3 such documentaries? that you watched recently?
Yes, sir. So first is RBI Unlocked. Another is Bharat Fintech Story. And thirdly, there is a series in Netflix called The Dirty Money.
Tell me, how does these shape your worldview?
So the first two documentaries, RBI Unlocked and Bharat Fintech Story, it has given me awareness about how RBI functions because
No,
mostly we.
can you talk to me about the third one, Dirty Money?
Okay, sir. So, dirty money is a global. It has global perspective, and it is talking about the parallel economy that is being run. And first of all, obviously, there is loss of tax revenue, but also it is affecting the life of people. For example, in Peru, there is large scale gold racket, which is affecting the health and life of the residents there. So all these things, they normally they do not come out on mainstream about the kind of mafia and the parallel economy that is running. So this is what it was about.
Okay, what is Indology? Indology.
So Indology is study of history of India.
So, how the classical Indology and modern Indology is different?
So I will have to read more on this. Sorry, sir.
Okay, initial Indologists were categorized into two: the British administrators and the British scholars, not Indians. Okay, so how these both were British administrators and scholars, but their view was different. Which one you think that is better?
So I don't think any of them was better because ultimately they were trying to advance the colonial point of view and they had their own biases. For example, initial Indologists, which were mainly Orientalists, they took only Brahminical perspective of Indian society, while the later Indologists, like British scholars, they were from the company. They were trying to put Britain as harbinger of modern era in India, which was also not entirely correct.
Okay, Samiksha, tell me which period of Indian history you find most relevant for administrators today? History, if I divide into different phases, which of these phases more relevant for administrators?
So I don't think there is one period that could be pinpointed because all of them have their significance in different manners. For example, ancient and medieval India, it helps us understand the cultural history of India and how to.
Samiksha, let's be more specific from 1757 to 1940 till now.
So I will go with post independence. Definitely, independence also was important, but I will go with post independence because since then we are undertaking lots of grassroots changes in India in order to re-establish it as the Vishwa Guru of for the world, and we are trying to reclaim our past glory. So I believe.
So what if it is from 1757 to 1947? Which phase of this will be better? That you administrators from the perspective of administrators.
So I will suggest post 1835 because from there the policy changed. There was more inclusion of Indians in administration with Macaulay's minutes in education. Post that there was inclusion of Indians in administration, and since then they Indians became they were definitely aware before that also, but they started uh, mobilizing themselves in order to go towards self-government, where Indians rule themselves rather than British.
Okay, tell me how working in a PSU bank is different from private sector employment.
So, public sector banks, they are more welfare oriented. and rather they have profit motive also, but it is more inclined with welfare and implementation of the schemes and financial inclusion, while public sector employment is mainly driven by the goals of the corporate and profit orientation.
Samiksha, my last question. How can the backward districts like Reva, you come from, right, catch up with cities like Indore?
So, for a city like Riva, which is the large, it has the highest rural population in whole of Madhya Pradesh. So, I would first suggest capitalizing on its agrarian background, uh, like development of agro processing industries, which will reduce the disguised employment which is present in agriculture, and also provide economic push to the city. And also I would suggest working towards local governance, because as as you suggested, Indore has made its mark with good work of the Indore Municipal Corporation. So I would suggest development in the local governance of Riva, and utilizing its skill capital, because it is also a labor surplus area. So I would focus on these three areas.
So if you are posted as DM of Reva, what would be your first administrative priority?
So first would be my identification of the strengths and weaknesses of that area. Next, identifying the strengths. As I said, the rural economy is there and the skill capital is there. I would work towards development of harnessing these benefits or these potential it has.
Thank you, Samiksha.
Thank you, sir.
Samiksha, despite very good GDP, robust growth, economic growth of India with 8.2 percent GDP, uh, why is rupee sliding vis-a-vis dollar?
So, Rupee has recently crossed the psychological barrier of had recently crossed psychological barrier of 90 rupee per dollar, and this slide is not only dependent on the growth of the country, but there are multiple external factors also. For example, global uncertainty, mainly because of tariff diplomacy of USA, and delays in India-US trade deals, and capital withdrawal, capital outflows by FPIs. So the and also underperformance of stocks, Indian stocks in the global market.
What can RBI do in this situation when there is a weak rupee vis-a-vis dollar?
So RBI follows managed float system for exchange rate, and it has done a commendable job in controlling the volatility of rupee. Otherwise, the value of rupee is defined by the market mechanisms. So I feel what they can do is just to control the volatility. That's what they have done till now, and let rupee find its own value. That will provide it reliability in global markets also.
So, Miksha, my last question is AI a bubble?
So, there have been speculations that AI has basically become a frenzy with lots of investment in AI related stocks and companies. However, it is yet to be seen, because there are reports that since their financial statements of the AI companies, they can be overstating their profit, because with the way the technology is going, their depreciation should be higher. But so in a way, presently their profits are being inflated. However, it is yet to be seen if it's a bubble, because if it is successful in generating value in future, so then it is not a bubble.
Good, good, good. So, Samiksha, we are now over with the formal interview with you.
Thank you, sir.
Now we are in the zone of feedback session. Okay. So I will give you my observations about your performance today, and then the honorable members will also add, and then we you can ask me questions. So, Samiksha, how do you think you have done today?
So, better than past, but I think I could do better in some questions.
You have appeared once earlier.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll talk about it later. So, Samiksha, as the honorable member also said, to do Samiksha of your performance today, you are very bright. You're
Thank you.
very bright. And when we say you are bright, we come across hundreds of candidates like you. Not this year, previous years also. So you are one of those, the higher, level ones. So keep it up. That's one. Now, very good expression, very good choice of words, and you pause and speak, which comes out. I mean, the result is that your quality answer comes out. Those questions where you knew the answers, you did exceptionally well, very nicely crystallized and structured. Once or twice you did go astray here and there, but then try to be as brief as possible, but you were good. But there are quite a few areas where you had to say no's, right? Something dealing with your own DAF. Okay. I liked your answer, excellent answer, when you mentioned about the economic, social, and then the political empowerment of women. That shows how clear your mind is. And you're very balanced. You come out with very balanced answers, which reflects a balanced personality from your side. The questions, the answers on history. I wish when the honorable member asked you a question on history, the last member, you could have rested the opportunity right in the first instance and should not have dwelt on, starting with ancient and then go so slow. So I would pick up different, good styles of administration from different phases of history. I will pick up this from the ancient times. I will pick up this from Chandragupta Maurya. I will pick up this from Ashoka. I will pick up this from. You understand my point?
Yes, sir.
You lost that opportunity.
Yes, sir.
And then, the honorable member relaxed something to you because he knew that, you are going too much on the ancient history and all.
Yes,
So
sir.
that is one. You have to kind of be there. You should have paused. And now you got an overdose of history, Samiksha, today. Now,
Yes,
it
sir.
it may not be possible that you may get an overdose. Depends upon what kind of members you have. Suppose if there is a historian sitting there, he will all the time. So, but you have to be very careful. Don't think that today's was the exception. I recount the experience of Shruti Sharma. She was the topper.
Yes, sir.
I had the opportunity of chairing a mock session with her, like you, and she did exceptionally well. We gave her very high marks, in the mock interview. Later on, we didn't speak to her, but we came to know that she was asked too many questions on history. She was a history student and she
Yes.
was not prepared. So anything can happen. So the sum and substance is that you must prepare history also very well. And history
Yes.
is a very interesting subject for people, sitting in the panel. So you must concentrate and deepen your knowledge in all your DAF subjects, whether it is Indore, whether it is Narmada, whether it is, and you have a very rich DAF. So you have variety of subjects to be asked, right?
Yes, sir.
But you are equally bright, Samiksha, and you will be able to do very well. So excellent performance today, and you would certainly do much better than what you did today. So I pass on to the other members, Dr. Gupta.
Thank you, sir.
So, Samiksha, you have done extremely well, as the chairman said just now. You are a bright candidate, your communication skills are good, your knowledge base is very good, but there are some things which you can still improve.
Yes, sir.
One is that, I asked you the first question, role of MP in national flag, that you talked about Sanchi later on, but the wheel that comes from Ashok Chakra, which is in Sanchi. Okay. So you have to prepare a little bit more on your state. Your state also played an important role in the first war of independence.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so prepare that because that's part of history as well.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is one part. Now, development as freedom. Why it is known? Because this was the book on which Amrita Sen was given Nobel Prize. So you should know
Yes, sir.
because you
I
are.
thought so, but then I was
uh,
not sure. That's why I did not say.
Yeah, but that was the reason. And this book actually, you described very correctly that as the development goes up and people get more income, they are empowered and they feel they get more choices, and that is what he means is freedom. Narvada, you said quite well, but you could have, your phrasing could be better.
Yes,
I
sir.
always emphasize that the power sentence is in one sentence, you can put many things. Like Narmada is the lifeline of MP. It starts from the north and goes up to the south. And it is the source of drinking water, irrigation, and also the various cultural and historical sites. Now, you see, it covers all the things. And then, if the board wants to know more, they can ask you more.
Yes, sir.
Now, functions of RBI, you have to be very focused. The
Yes, sir.
first function of the RBI is the regulating the monetary policy of the country. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
The second one is issuing of currency. The
Yes.
third one is bankers bank. Fourth one is regulating all the commercial banks. And fifth one is the government bank. So you should go, in order of priority.
Yes, sir.
So I would say you are very good, but you have to what you say structure your answer in such a way that the most important part comes first and then followed by the lesser and lesser important.
Yes,
So
sir.
that if you keep in mind, you will do extremely well. But in any case, you have done extremely well today and you will do very well. Indore is also the cleanest city, so the questions can come. Your father is in some pollution control organization, so remember that question can come up on pollution
Pollution.
control, contamination, environmental issues. They are all linked with that. Okay, so
Yes,
follow that up. So wish you good luck, Samiksha. So my Samiksha is all in your favor.
sir. Thank you, sir.
Samiksha, you have done very well, and both the honorable members have summed up your overall performance and areas where you need to improve also. Uh, on the question of oral history, you see, one of the problem with oral history is that since it is based on the oral narrations, it is very vulnerable to interpolations. It
Yes,
is
sir.
very vulnerable to distortions. It could also be misutilized facts which could be ordered, but also, although it's a very important source of history as such. And coming back to what the last member asked you regarding those institutions and all, there are many old institutions, although the nature and form has changed, but they are still in public administration. For example, Kotwal. Kotwal is a very old system, but the functions of Kotwal has changed, the nature has changed. It is there are in every city you will find Kotwali police station as it used to be. So you could trace or identify such administrative institutions which were
Mm.
very important, and over a period of time how they have graduated into and changed their overall formation. That could also be. So slightly concentrate more on your
Yes,
history
sir.
optional, and then you will do very well. We hope to see you in the list. Okay, all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Samiksha, you got a detailed feedback, so there is nothing more to add. Just one thing, I would say that Mahatma Gandhi is better than Mr. Gandhiji. So
So by mistake, it came.
I heard you say yes. Okay, fine. All the best.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Samiksha, any questions from you?
So, I wanted to ask, as you can see that my history optional is not that well prepared. So, what are the areas which I could focus on in perspective of interview?
So something what the honorable members asked, most of the things related to the present administrative system, like you know uh, the Mughal Empire, Ashoka Empire, Chandragupta Maurya, what kind of things you will pick up. I have myself asked the some of the candidates coming from hailing from Maharashtra about Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, his style of administration. So pure history they may not ask. Maybe the freedom struggle is very important. Mahatma Gandhi, Subhash Chandra Bose. These days, Subhash Chandra Bose is in a lot of discussion. I generally ask one question, from the candidates like you, that had Mr. Subhash Chandra Bose led the freedom movement in India, what would India have been today? You know, and would we have got the freedom earlier than what we actually when we actually got something. So freedom struggle is very important. Administrative you know uh, kind of models that you can see throughout. Now Chandragupta Maurya is suddenly called as the golden period of India's history, so you should read more about it. Maybe you
Yes.
can pick up few things from there.
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
most of the things related to practical aspects as to what do you learn from India's history, what is the worst period in India's history. I there are many members who keep asking questions. In these 75 years of Indian history after independence, which three incidents you would think that they should not have happened? The worst things that happened, which you would wish that they had not happened, and which are the brightest thing or the glory, the events of glory for India after India's independence. Something. So that is important. Okay,
Yes.
and
We
mostly
should.
on.
Also, one thing that is the revision of history, that the history has been written by the colonizers and we need to revise it to give an Indian perspective. That is also an important issue on which you should be ready.
Very true. And that is also a controversial issue, Samiksha. You should have your views also. That should the history be changed, like in curriculum, NCRT books, there are accusations on the government that they are changing the history, whether it is good or whether it should be done. So your views have to be very balanced. You know? So these are the things. Any other question, Samiksha?
No, sir.
You
Samiksha
do very
also
well. Yeah.
read regarding Bande Mataram, this
Yes, sir.
recent controversy which is going on.
Yes.
So, Bande Mataram could also be a very important question for you. And then,
So all current affairs, Samiksha, you have to kind of go through them. And how much you got in your previous interview, Samiksha?
So 168.
So Samiksha, that was way back, no, 2 years
Yes,
before.
sir. Yes, sir.
Today's performance was much better than. Forget about your last marks. Don't get burdened by the pressure of your marks that you got earlier.
Yes, sir.
You are very bright, right? Understand your potential and just plug the knowledge gaps.
Yes, sir.
you know Once you have the knowledge, you will express it excellently. That is your strength. And you are
Yes.
very pleasant personality, very good conversation, everything else is fine. Just read a little more extensively and deeply. That's all
Yes.
you require.
So one more thing. So recently I got married. So can they ask any questions related to that also?
Though, but they can ask a lot of questions despite whether they know about your marriage or not. That's not important.
Hmm.
But they will certainly ask you being a woman.
Yes.
Issues like marital rape, issues like live-in relations, issues like uniform civil code.
Hmm.
All these issues, increasing the marriageable age of girls. All these things which are in circulation, the subjects. You should
Yes.
have your views on that.
Okay, sir.
Not just have the knowledge about it. You should have your views because views will be asked.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes.
wish you all the best, Samiksha,
Yes.
and take some offline interviews also.
Yes, sir. So my interview is on in February. So
Oh, so
meanwhile,
you
I'm.
have the time.
oh,
But
you plenty of
don't
time.
get complacent.
Yes, sir.
रिलैक्स मत करना आज के फीडबैक से, ठीक है?
No, no, sir. I'm preparing so
All the
that
time.
this time I do better.
I think one member had something to say.
No, nothing. I think the complacency part, that was very important, which you said.
So all the best,
Budget also you should prepare, Barbary.
Yes, sir.
So you may leave now, Samiksha.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
All
sir.
the best to you. All the
Thank you,
best.
sir.